Hello and welcome everyone. This is number 2 in the Terra series. We will be talking about Anchor Earn and bridging to Terra. If you missed the first video in this series where we talked all about wallets and safety and why you might be interested in the Terra ecosystem, maybe you should go check that out. We will link it in the show notes. We will try to tag it up here somewhere so that you can click and check out that video before moving on to video number 2. All right, so what will be covered today? We will have Anchor. Why you want Anchor? Well, right now it's 18% APR on your UST, which is amazing savings, amazing earning that you can have. And then we will also be covering bridges. Why do we need to cover bridges? Well, bridges are how you can connect from Ethereum or other blockchains. As we can see here, there's a long list of blockchains that we can connect to onto Terra and what you can actually bridge. So we will be covering how to bridge, the easiest way to bridge, and we'll be covering a little bit of some of the costs required for that. And then we will cover Anchor Protocol and how you can earn this very nice 18% APR. And we will explain the projected 16.5 and how that will be working moving forward. So let's get started with bridges. So right now, there are currently two large bridges on Terra. These are Wormhole and Terra Bridge. So bridges are a way for context here. Alex wrote this wonderful article where he explains how blockchains usually cannot communicate with each other. So we have these bridges. We've created these bridges so that blockchains can move from Ethereum to Terra to Avalanche, and all these bridges are able to connect blockchains. So in order to connect to Terra, you need to use either the Terra bridge or a wormhole bridge, for example, the Portal bridge. It is powered by Wormhole and it can connect to Solana chains as well. So we can see that we can see how the bridge helps us connect to many of these other networks and what we can do. So if we were to go to Portal, we would connect and then we have to use one of our wallets. And once we connect, we send the target. The target is the different wallet we will be sending to. And then we can send tokens and then we redeem the tokens in the new wallet. Why do we have to send and then redeem later? Well, you're sending your tokens on Terra onto a wallet that is owned by Wormhole. And then Wormhole verifies that you have sent those tokens and they were released tokens, either wrapped or new tokens on Solana. That is essentially the easiest explanation on how this works. Now, if you want to know the exact fees of how much this is, well, that will depend specifically on your source chain. The chain you land on and the chain you receive on will have specific fees on executing these contracts. If we were to go, for example, from Ethereum onto Terra, these might have a higher fee. So, as we know, Ethereum has very high gas fees, and this might incur a high gas fee to transfer to Terra. What I like to do is I always like to check if gas fees are very high on Ethereum, if I am transferring from Ethereum, to see if it's worth it to trade or to send or to do a transaction on Ethereum in order to send. On Terra, the average fee can vary anywhere between $1 to 5 cents, and depends on the size, usually of the transaction or the kind of contract. So I would say if you are transferring from Ethereum, you can expect to pay anywhere between $10 and $100 for the initial sending of the tokens. And if you to receive on Terra, you'll pay anywhere between 5 cents and $1 to receive your tokens. This is the Terra bridge, and it's the most audited bridge and used. We can see how, in order to connect to Terra, you can actually send tokens from Binance Smart Chain, Secret Network, Cosmos, Polygon, so pretty much every chain. And if you want to connect to Solana, then you would want to refer to the token bridge, the portal. So these are the two main bridges that you will be using in order to bridge your tokens onto Terra. Let's do a quick walkthrough of what you do. You select the asset right now to bridge from Ethereum to Terra. You can only bridge specific assets, those being Luna and UST. But if we were to choose a different chain, for example, Osmosis, um, it allows us to bridge a lot more assets. For example, KRT or Osmo. KRT is the Korean won stablecoin. So same thing happens with other chains that might have more likes or more like assets that can be bridged on Terra. So Atom can be bridged onto Terra as well, for example. If we go over to Avalanche, we can actually bridge Avalanche to Terra as well. Well, not here. We might have to use Portal in order to bridge Avalanche. So we can go over here and switch Avalanche. Um, and then we can verify the token that we want to send. I will not be connecting my wallets here, but you get the main idea of the process. You choose what asset, you choose the amount, 200, and the destination address. Because they're different kinds of wallets, on Avalanche, you use something like a MetaMask wallet. And on Terra, you have to use one of the wallets we talked about in the past video. So you need to place the destination address. The destination is where you are going. You are connected with what you started with. So I connect with my MetaMask wallet from Avalanche and I'm going to Terra. So that is the address I will be clicking here. Now, it is very important to know that if you're bridging to, or if not, if you're bridging, if you're sending tokens to an exchange is going to require a memo code. A memo code is a specific code that tells the exchange who are those assets from and who is the owner of those assets. So it's very crucial for you to have that memo code when you're sending to an exchange. If you want to send money to Terra from an exchange, all you have to do is look up your Terra address and input it into the exchange and send it directly to your Terra address. You do not need to do something advanced. You do not need to add a memo. All you have to do is confirm it is a Terra asset. Because, for example, on Coinbase, UST is actually wrapped UST. So you're actually sending it from Ethereum. This is why it asks you to use the shuttle bridge. The shuttle bridge is something that you can use from an exchange, and it would send it to the Terra bridge so that you can send, for example, wrapped UST onto um, Coinbase wallet, for example. But I would personally avoid doing that because it's just a big mess. Confirm you have native UST on your exchange. Binance has native UST, KuCoin has native UST, Gemini has native UST. And if they don't have native UST, they most likely will have native Luna. So once you confirm that they have the native asset, you can send that directly to your wallet. All right, so let's move on to Anchor. Better savings. Why do you want Anchor? Anchor offers a better yield. Anchor offers a stable and attractive yield powered by staking returns from multiple proof of stake blockchains. So, what does this mean? Do you care? Well, on Anchor, you can go over here and see that we can earn 18.1%. This used to be actually 19.5, but with recent updates that we will review in a second, this interest rate is now going to be variable, and we'll cover how much and how this can actually change. So if we were to go to Anchor here, we would connect our wallet and then we will click deposit. When we click deposit, we choose the exact amount that we wish to deposit, and then we could click approve. It's quite straightforward and easy. All you have to do is make sure you keep a few dollars, UST, Luna, or something outside in your wallet so you can pay for transactions later. So if I had, for example, $100 I wanted to put into Earn, I would personally like to keep at least $5 out in my wallet. So I would only deposit 95 in order to earn interest on that 95 and then have some money left over in order to pay for fees if I require paying for fees. So I hope this was pretty easy. The next step with Anchor would be borrow. Borrow, you can deposit different collateral types like BLUNA, BETH, BATOM, and WAS AVAX. Why do these have a weird start to them? Well, B assets over here are assets that are earning interest because they are liquid staked. What does that mean? That sounds weird. Okay, so liquid staked assets means that they are essentially a staked um, token that is earning interest. It's earning yield by being staked. Because it is staked, it's earning whatever yield it would get from its native place. So Ethereum, for example, earns 5% yield by being staked on something like Lido. Atom earns around 15% APR by being staked in your wallet. Luna earns right around 8% by being staked. So the B in the beginning, or the web in the beginning, is a liquid form of the stake. It represents that staked asset. That's why if we were to go to withdraw, we can actually burn, and it takes time to bond or unbond. What does that mean? Well, you can create a B asset by depositing Luna, and then you can unbond, retrieve your one-to-one Luna by doing the same process. However, because it is essentially a staked asset, it takes 21 days, or the same amount of days it would take to unbond that asset, to unstake that asset. So if you guys have any questions about them, drop them in the comments. We will try to answer as much as possible. You can always tag me on Twitter as well, King Julian I am, so that you guys can just ask me the questions on bonding, all of this complicated stuff. Going back to the easy earn side, all you have to do is deposit. It will tell you your expected interest on how much you're expected to earn. And then you will just leave it there. If you ever wish to withdraw, you can click on the withdraw button right there. And that will allow you to take your money out and move it elsewhere. So if you want to access Anchor on Avalanche, for example, that is now an option as well. You can go directly onto Avalanche and you will get the same APR, and you can do this all directly on Avalanche natively. Same thing, deposit and withdraw works in the exact same way. Awesome. So why do we care about Anchor? Currently, Anchor is the third largest protocol in TVL. What does that mean? It's the third largest in terms of total value locked. Total value locked means the amount of tokens, or the amount of value in USD terms, that is locked on Anchor. We can currently see that total value locked on Anchor is right around $17 billion. That's making all-time highs at the moment. It means people are fleeing or escaping the volatility to this guaranteed 16% earn on Anchor. So it's actually one of the safest ways to get passive income. So if we were to go back to Terra, we can actually see protect your deposit. So I know a lot of people are very risk averse and are very scared of DeFi. So there's different options for you to actually protect your deposit. You can protect from two specific things: the UST peg. So if UST ever becomes unpegged one-to-one to the US dollar, then you can be protected, or smart contract protection. If ever Anchor were to be hacked, or there was some smart contract flaw where users lose their funds, you would also be protected. So these different insurance options, they have a small percentage that they keep. So they actually keep your deposit, or sorry, they keep an amount of your earning potential. So usually the average is right around 2 to 3%. So instead of earning this 18%, you'd be earning closer to 15%, because 3% is being taken by the insurance provider in order to protect your collateral that was deposited. So if you guys have questions on insurance, on how that works, and how you might be able to find something that is beneficial to you, then you can, of course, just drop it in the comments. Remember, this is only the second video in Terra, and we will be covering more videos in the future. We can answer all your questions about those, about the previous videos and following videos. So please don't be afraid to ask. So now I'll go over to Anchor on their Twitter, because they have a very nice breakdown on how the new rate adjustments will be happening. So now Anchor will have a semi-dynamic earn rate. What does this mean? Well, very simply, we'll look at these for examples. But let's say Anchor earn rate adjusts dynamically by up to 1.5 each month, and it's based off of the yield reserve appreciated or depreciated. And the floor is 15% APY, and the ceiling is 20% APY. So if we jump back to Anchor, we can see that the ceiling can be 20 and the floor can be 15. And what does it depend on? Well, we can see the dashboard over here, the total deposits and the total borrow. We can see that there's a discrepancy. There's more people depositing on the earn side than there are people depositing on the borrow side. So Anchor is able to pay this yield because people pay to borrow assets. If not enough people are borrowing, then Anchor has to dig into their treasury, which we can see right here, the yield reserve, that is a treasury, and they have to take money from the treasury in order to continue paying out the value and continue paying out everyone that is deposited here in the earn side. So looking back over here on the dynamic earn rate, we can see that if the yield reserve goes up by 1.5%, then the earn rate will go up by 1.5%. If the yield reserve goes up by 3%, it will only go up by 1.5. That means every month, the Anchor earn rate can only change by 1.5%. So you have a clear view on how this will change, and you will know exactly how much it can change by. So even if the yield reserve goes down by 7%, the Anchor earn rate can only go down by 1.5. And if we go up by 7%, same thing, it can only go up by 1.5. This adjusts and helps one with the volatility of the yield reserve. And it also helps to guarantee that everyone will have a consistent income or a consistent earn side. So as we can see, the earn rate is really great right now and has been for the past year and a half. Anchor has been out since March 2021. So they have been consistent with the 20% until May when it finally changed to that earn side. We can see here that's 16.5. So let's go over here. Sorry, 18. It will change if calculations continue. May 31st, it will change to 16.5 because, well, as we saw from this clear tweet, the yield reserve has gone down by more than 1.5%. So the earn rate will go down by 1.5%. This is in order to guarantee longevity in the protocol and in order to guarantee that they can keep that earn rate as long as possible. So I hope that this answered everyone's questions, that everyone was able to understand how to use Anchor, why Anchor is safe, how it works, how you can protect yourself if you wish to. You can protect your deposit with smart contract risk, UST DPEG. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have suggestions on something you'd like to understand for future videos, do drop them in the comments. I've talked about stablecoins and UST in a different video that we will also tag. And remember, if you don't have a Terra wallet yet and want to learn about different wallets on Terra, do look for that video. That is the #1 in the series. So let me know your thoughts and comments. Thank you so much for joining. See you next time.